What do you think?
Woohoo. Very nice. Look at that.
Picked them up from the printers yesterday.
Good coloring.
That's bone. And the lettering is something called Cillian Braille.
It's very cool, Bateman, but that's nothing. Look at this. That is really nice.
Before I continue to take you on this catastrophic journey that is Lust Geass, I will warn you beforehand that this story isn't for the lighthearted. With that out of the way, we last left off after Sota witnessed a vile action that Rika was performing, and rereading this does not please me at all. After that, Sota and the girls agreed that before they continue with their mischievousness, Sota must mend his relationship with Rika as her life and his life are at stake. The next day, we see that exactly happen. Sota is doing everything in his power to mend with Rika, however at the same time, Usui is having troubles with her heart and where she stands. She is bottling up all her emotions, and as we saw earlier with Rika, it doesn't end well, and usually that's the recipe for disaster. After a long week, Sota and Rika come home together promising to be by each other's side. But because he is an absolute idiot and doesn't have the ability to think of what might happen if he leaves Rika unattended, he leaves to take care of Usui one last time. He gives a dummy harem MC speech that all I want of you is blah 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 blah, and Usui almost, and I mean almost, fucks everything up, but she doesn't. Cool. Now, because of Sota leaving Rika alone, Mrs. Fuck comes along and picks up Rika to finish her plan and have the boy she wants. The plan that Grammy proposed to Kanade is that if she can steal Rika from Zepar by making her do the deed with the Coma Boy gets his soul back, which results in Rika losing her soul. I think at this point there's too many contracts, and Goody Two Shoes joins the contract of Zepar, so at this point I'm just as lost as you are. We go to the hospital where Kanade turns Rika into a sleeper agent by telling her that this is a dream and that she should have sex with the Coma Boy because it's a dream. She starts to get on top of him, but mere seconds before she can do anything, Sota comes in to stop her. Rika tells Sota that this is a dream, and like before when he saw her in the park, before she does anything silly, Sota apologizes and admits that this is his fault. Finally, he's taking responsibility. The dream spells breaks loose and reality sets in. Rika comes to her senses. Memories of what she believed are dreams tell her otherwise. Those nights where she hooked up with random men weren't dreams at all. She finally realized that it was all real. The sudden urge of guilt, disgust, and indecency broke her mind, causing her to faint. After leaving her at their teacher's house for better protection, Sota leaves for a night walk to clear up his mind. And during this reflection moment, he wonders, what if I could start over? At this point, Asmodeus, the king of the demons, shows up and says that she or he will grant Sota's wish. Now, at this point, we don't know Asmodeus's gender, so because he's taking possession of a girl in Sota's school, I'm going to be referring to her as a she. Moving on. So Asmodeus tells Sota that she can do the big ol' Command Z on the whole timeline to reset everything before any of this mess happened. But the cost is that Sota and Rika's relationship would have never happened. So it would be erased. My guy ponders on the idea and ultimately agrees to it. But unbeknownst to him, Asmodeus already contacted Rika and told her the same. Rika is opposed to the idea. Now her reasoning is because she loves Sota, and at this point her mental state is so gone, and the horny sleeper agent is her second personality that can chime in at any time she wants. Sota can't bear his actions and what he turned Rika into, so he wants to reset the timeline, which again is a fair stance on the whole situation because at this point everyone has a contract with another demon, and it's just very, very confusing to keep up with the narrative. Now, comma, and a big comma. After the little scramble, Sota does a big brain move and takes advantage of the horny sleeper agent Rika, or HSR. HSR for short. That's weird. He talks to Zephyr about their contract and his plan to deceive HSR. The plan is to lie to HSR and have sex with her, ultimately killing Sota, so when Rika comes back to her consciousness, she is forced to reset the timeline. I didn't expect this development in the story, and when I first read it, I was actually happy because that actually sounds like a sound solution, and you know, Sota gets his way. And I mean, he takes responsibility for what he's done in some way. Anyway, now it does go according to plan. Sort of. HSR recognizes that there is no other man that can satisfy her like Sota, and he does it. But it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Why, you ask? Because Asmodeus resets the timeline back to chapter 1, regardless of her deal to Sota and Rika. And only Kuyoki kept the memories of the last timeline. And just because Asmodeus felt like it. So, to add lighter fluid to this mess, the only reason the timeline was reset was because everyone had double contracts that messed with 2 demons and broke demon rules. So that logically resets everything back. Now, when Asmodeus was explaining this, I didn't believe it. First of all, because it's kind of like an assumption that everyone makes that demons essentially don't follow rules and they can just do whatever they want. So Asmodeus actually, resetting everything back and fixing the mess perfectly without getting anything in return is stupid. It's very lazy writing. And getting back to reset to the first chapter with everyone having these deja vu feelings of what happened with each other, it's very it's unbelievable. I can't wrap my brain around it. I spent months waiting for an actual good development, and this is how it ends. Such a bullshit ending. But yeah, I mean, I hate this ending, but this is what I get. But yeah, that's actually how the story of Lust Geass ends, and oh my god,